The former vice president made an appearance this morning on an influential radio program in the Black community, the Breakfast Club. And he got into a little bit of a back and forth with one of the hosts. And he ended up saying that basically, the direct quote was, if you've got a problem figuring out whether you're for me or for Trump, then you ain't black.
Mhm.
And that comment immediately caused a stir online. It caused the Trump campaign to come out and say that this was the same kind of race baiting that they're often accused of, the reelection campaign for the president. It's continued to sort of reverberate throughout the social media universe throughout the day. Just a few minutes ago, Biden made an impromptu appearance on a Black Chamber of Commerce conference call, and he walked back the comment. He didn't apologize to say he was sorry, but he said he should not, quote, should not have been so cavalier, end quote. He also talked about how he would never take the Black community for granted, and that was never his intention. I think him coming out immediately and trying to to sort of quell to walk back the comment, as we say, probably does diffuse some of this. Now, he didn't say I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it. He said I shouldn't have been so cavalier, and I don't, I would never take this important class of people for granted in my election. And so it's possible that if his comments to the Chamber of Commerce are not enough, he might have to actually come out and apologize. But I think the feeling of the campaign was they wanted to come out, walk back the comments as quickly as possible, and now they're hoping it will kind of go away. This issue is particularly important for former vice president, because the Black community is really the helped him come back and win the primary in a decisive way after really struggling in the early states. He dominated South Carolina, and he dominated African American voters throughout the South on Super Tuesday and beyond, and they really played an instrumental role in helping him clinch the primary. So this was a comment that obviously was offensive to a lot of people, and he's already made, within a matter of hours, taken action to try and walk it back. Obviously, it's no secret that President Trump, Donald Trump as a candidate in 2016 struggled enormously with the African American community. I don't think anybody is thinking that Joe Biden won't win the African American vote in November. He had strong ties to the community for years and years and years in the Senate. His home state of Delaware is about a quarter African American, and of course, he served as vice president under the nation's first African American president, Barack Obama. So he has deep ties to the community. But by the same token, this is the kind of thing that activists who were reacting to it immediately said, he's taking the Black vote for granted. He's expecting us to vote for him because he's a Democrat and because he has a sort of a long pedigree and a history, but he's not going to really work hard to turn out the vote in November. And the key point here is turnout, because even if he could win the African American vote by a sizable margin, if a lot of Black voters aren't motivated to turn out because they don't think Biden is has been a very strong candidate or done a lot to really address their needs, they may, rather than voting for Trump, they may just stay home, and that could really